Hi, I'm Stephanie Salvatori. I am an independent living caseworker for Lycoming County Children and Youth Services. My job is actually a dream job. I spent a large portion of my childhood in the child welfare system in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. I went to Lycoming College, and that's how I ended up here and met my husband and my family now. I went into foster care when I was 12 and stayed in until I was 21, which is the max out age now. My oldest sister overdosed and passed away on heroin, and that was my mom's firstborn. So that, you know what they say, go off the DB. She struggled with that big time. Her mental health, I now can look back as an educated adult and know like her mental health and her anxiety and her depression. Obviously then I didn't understand it because I'm like, yes, she did die, but you have 3 other children. And at that time, my nephews came to live with us when my sister passed away. So it got to the point where my mom was drinking and started kind of mixing some pain medications with that pretty regularly. So my nephews were 4 and 6. So I would get them up in the mornings. I'd make sure they got to school. I would actually leave school a little early to get them home, make sure they were home, make sure they were fed, and I don't even know what I fed them, to be honest. It was just kind of survival mode. That's what I knew. I kind of had, I was parentified. I had that role. I was very mother hen with them. So that's what I did. And eventually somebody kind of took notice of what was happening and reported my mom, and Children and Youth showed up at the house and handed me the trash bag to pack my things in, 2 weeks worth. And I never saw any of my other things again. So my mom didn't pay rent, and you know, she was probably at her all-time low. So she had a lot of therapy, a lot of, you know, support. She had a lot of things she had to work on, which she obviously never did. You know, so you get a goal, you get a goal plan, a family service plan, and she just never met her goals. So they don't return you unless your family meets the goals and they feel that you're safe and that the reasons you were removed were rectified. So that never really happened. But through that, I went to several different schools, moved around a lot, a couple different foster homes. But through all that, I knew that I had to be different. I knew I had to change the cycle in my family. So that meant not having children before graduating high school. That meant finishing high school, and that meant going to college. So all things that didn't happen in my family. So I can sit now very happily and feel good about that. But at the end of the day, I wasn't fulfilled. Later in my life, I was adopted. And at that time, my adopted family asked me, where's your heart at? And I said, my heart has always been wanting to work with kids that were just like me. So I get to work with these kids every day and kind of get them to see the other side, which is exactly what my independent living worker did for me. Getting to do that every day is amazing. It's humbling because I'm now fortunate. I now live in a house that my husband and I got to build. It's my first forever home. I've never had a home other than this one. I've lived in apartments, I've lived in foster homes, I lived in dorms. So this is my first forever home. And I have my stepson Reese, who's 16, and my 3-year-old daughter Eliana. And it's fun on many levels and obviously very different ways. But it's very important to me that they understand where I came from, because anybody can end up there. So my 3-year-old knows about my work kids. She has met many of them. But it's amazing to turn out and be on the end of life, the spectrum that I get to be in now. But my job keeps me humbled to that. So when I am driving up my driveway every day to my beautiful home, at the end of the day, I know what it took to get here. I know the sacrifices I've made, the hard work I've put in. So those are the things I try to instill in the kids I work with. So that's the big thing for me, is just taking how I grew up. At this time in my life, I can say I'm grateful for that. Had I not been removed from my mom at that time, I definitely wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation. I probably would not have graduated college, maybe high school, but foster care saved my life in more ways than one. but the system still has a long way to go, and that is part of my goal. My goal is to help improve the system for the kids now and the kids that will continue to come. So that is, I guess you could say, my story.